Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Lyric Chambers, guitarist of the band D Block. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up! What's going on, caffeinated crew? On the episode today, joined by Lyric. Got a couple of affiliations. I first know you from D Block, obviously. Mm-hmm. You got like a new project going on, Stop at Nothing. Yep. Detroit Head Check. Tie Down. Were you affiliated?
I'm not. No, those are some of my good friends, though. So.
Okay. So, you know, the crossover is there.
Yeah.
How are you?
Amazing. It's been a good day.
Nice.
Yeah. The weather's been weird here. We'll start with the weather.
Let's start with the weather.
It's just been rainy on and off. It'll be super sunny, super rainy.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to be cool about it. But
is it hot?
It is hot. I have some friends and you're based in Toronto, yeah?
No, I'm in the better city, Montreal.
Oh, you are in Montreal. Okay.
Yeah. Not a native.
Okay, not a native. Okay. Yeah, but it's hot. It's gross. It's humid. We're surrounded by water, so it's just terrible.
Same.
Yeah. But no, it's been a good day. I'm chilling.
It's hot. It's so hot. It's so hot. I'm from Georgia originally. And
okay.
This is hot. I'm hot.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Where at in Georgia?
Savannah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Georgia's fine.
Whoa.
I love it. I love Atlanta.
Okay.
I've never properly been to Savannah. It's like one of those states where like Atlanta surrounding areas like seems awesome, and then there's like those little pocket cities, right? And then it's a whole lot of like nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very different than the Midwest, I find, because my dad lives in Akron, and I feel like you're at least an hour 30 from like another big city. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like that in Georgia.
No, you're 3 hours. You're either in Atlanta or not, Savannah, right?
Yeah. Or you can drive from Savannah, you can drive 2 hours to Charleston or 2 hours to Jacksonville. And that's basically it. Not like you'd ever want to drive there on purpose.
What about LaGrange? What's up with LaGrange?
What is up with them except for like getting their emails and flyers for college all through high school?
Okay. What college is there?
LaGrange.
Oh, okay.
It's like in the mountains.
Okay.
That's the one selling point.
I like the ZZ Top song. That's about all I know about LaGrange.
Are you drinking coffee?
I am not, unfortunately. I have made the closest equivalent, a nice cup of tea.
It's nice.
It's not late, but it's late enough. For me, if I do have like a nice cup of coffee, I will not go to bed for a while. So I work very early. Mm-hmm. So that's my coffee time. And yeah, if I have a cup now, I'm not going to bed, and it'll just ruin my day tomorrow. So
I feel you. I had to get to work much earlier today than I usually do, just because I had to double up on some hours. And let me tell you something. I'm not used to seeing the first metro train come through the station in the morning, but that was today.
Oh, damn. Do you take the train to work?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, Like, and
Damn.
essentially my, the coffee roaster that I work at as well is like a 30-minute train, like metro ride.
Okay.
So it's kind of relaxing because it's like a podcast time or something like that. I can just, turn my headphones on and just like zone out. But
Yeah, that's yeah, that is nice and relaxing. I drive for a living,
Mhm.
so I'm constantly listening to podcasts and music and also sometimes sitting in silence just because it's nice. Uh
What do you drive?
I just drive a 26-foot box truck,
Oh,
28
okay.
something. It's a box truck.
Hmm.
Um but I just worked 14 hours yesterday. Um I work 3 or 4 days a week, so like the days I work are very long.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's
Do you find that that's
about
better
it.
though?
Uh, I can handle it. It depends on the person. Um, there's people that come in and they're like, I can't handle these long days, and then they quit. But I had Monday and Wednesday off this week, and I have weekends off too.
That's
So
dope.
I'm very thankful for my job. So
Yeah. I used to do like live audio and like live audio visual stuff. And so all the days were usually like 12, 14, 16 sometimes.
yeah,
And driving driving 26-foot trucks, then unloading and like setting up it's crazy. I feel like a lot of that's very unsafe, but I do know what it's like to be just like want silence when you're done with like a gig and you've heard music for 8 hours and you just want to like
all the time. After Usually after every show, most of the time I'm driving home in silence.
Mhm.
But depending on who I have with me in the car, uh, whether or not they had a few drinks or not, they just want to crank it up and uh, hear anything full blast. And I'm like, all right, I can't be the buzzkill, but like most of the time, if I'm alone, I'm just silent.
I will tell you what I'm drinking, but on the note of if the person you're driving with, are you automatically like in your group of friends designated driver because of the straight edge?
Yes. Yeah. I don't mind driving. I really don't. Um, but yeah, I'm always the DD.
Yep. My band has two of those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's sick.
Everybody, each of my bands, everyone is straight edge except for the drummer.
That's so weird.
Yep.
It's because drummers are wild.
Drummers are wild.
I speak from experience. I know
What
it.
anything you can share?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played drums like my entire life,
Okay. Oh, because
and
you're the wild one.
yeah, well, yeah, we have another in Bruiserweight. Our bassist is the wild one, I would say, but
Okay.
he's not straight edge. But we kind of egg each other on now, which is fun because he's much younger than me.
Oh yeah, he needs that done.
Yeah, so we kind
Yeah.
of like feed off of each other's energy, and we're like, what kind of night is it? Are we chill, or are we gonna like drink 6 beers each and make John drive us home? You know what
That
I mean?
do that.
Do that.
Yeah, most of the time. Why not?
So
What are you drinking?
okay, you know about coffee.
A decent amount, yeah.
Are you familiar with La Cabra?
Yeah. That's like a big like a brand, right?
Yeah, they have one in Brooklyn now, but the original one is in Denmark.
Okay.
And I just got back from like vacation going around that area. And I got to go to like the original like La Cabra. So I'm drinking some La Cabra.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I will be honest, it was the most I think I've ever paid for a cup of coffee in my entire life.
Yeah, but was it worth it?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this is their Lizardo Herrera. It's like a Colombian squashed pink bourbon. I've had a lot of pink bourbons recently, which I'm not mad at. But it's got like some juicy and like crisp notes. So kind of like Melanie, not
Okay.
Melanie like the name Melanie, but like melon
Yeah.
hyphen Y.
Like a
It's
refreshing kind of.
yes, very
Yeah.
much like a
Okay.
honeydew. Um, but I find that coffees over there are so clean, like the way that they roast them, it just makes the cup a lot cleaner and very clear, which I like.
Well, everything in Europe is clean.
It's so true.
Like I just went there last year for the first time. Shortly after we played Hamilton, like a few weeks after that, we went to Europe for the first time. And yeah, like seeing like we didn't get to go to Denmark, but like Netherlands and
Mm.
Belgium, like just that area of Europe is so clean. Like not a single piece of trash anywhere. And also just the food.
Yeah.
Like everything is just made so well and you can taste it
Where in
for
Netherlands did
sure.
you go?
Um, I would have to pull that up. I
That's
don't
okay.
um remember exactly where, but it was a smaller town. Um, and I forgot the club, but it was fun. It was nice.
Was that who was that with?
It was with D Block.
Oh, I didn't know you went to Europe.
Yeah, we did 10 days in Europe last year. Just
It's
us.
crazy.
Yeah.
How is that? How is doing just y'all on a tour in Europe?
It wasn't bad. It was fun. A lot of the shows were I'll be honest, not the best. Um we had one show drop, which was kind of a bummer because it was in Berlin. So we didn't
Mm-hmm.
get to go to Berlin, um, which is okay because we spent an extra day in Prague,
Oh, that's
in
sick.
the Czech Republic, which I've always wanted to go to since I was a kid. Um, but yeah, it was just fun being there
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that we like did it ourselves pretty much. We obviously had help like booking the shows and whatnot, and uh, it was great.
I
Lots
think
of
Dutch.
lots of stories from that.
Oh, damn. I
Yeah,
wanted maybe we'll get like a good story um later on
yeah,
when we talk about the block.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
what's your go-to spot in Detroit? I'm in a coffee chat recently. One of my friends was in Detroit playing a show and was asking for, Rex, and I think I only saw two thrown out. Um,
What were the two?
isn't Madcap is in Detroit, right?
Yep, Madcap is great. Yep.
That's the one I usually like. I've had their coffee when I was in Miami and it was great. And then there was another one that I don't remember what it was.
There's the few go-tos that people end up going to are Madcap. Um, that's just like an overall like good spot. Like you're not gonna really get anything bad there.
Mhm.
Um, there's a spot. I've kind of been like slacking lately. Kind of just because of my job, I think
Mhm.
that like I drive so much that I'm not driving anywhere for anything. And there's there's no real local stuff where I'm at. Um, so it's just hard for me to kind of like, at least mentally get out of the house and like, oh, I'm going to spend a couple hours here and go to the coffee shop.
Mhm.
But there's also Dessert Oasis, um, which is a great little spot, not far from where Madcap is. Uh, Germac is a good spot. I don't know if that's the place that closed recently or not. I'd have to fact check that. Um, Germac, I know, is awesome. Great Lakes is like a bigger company. Um, That's like kind of by like the Magic Stick area downtown Woodward
Hmm.
Ave. There's there's a little shop. Um, it's the company Shinola.
Oh yeah.
They have a little like espresso bar in there. And before the Tied Down pre-show, I'd never been in there. Before the Tied Down pre-show, some friends went in there to get coffee and they came back where we were and they're like, you have to try this. I'm like, is it great? And I took a sip. Amazing. They just got like a standard latte. And I have yet to go back, but I actually might do that this weekend because I'm going to be passing through. So um, there's one other place. I'm going to look it up real quick that a lot of people go to.
I what is your go-to drink when you're at a shop?
Um, for a long time, I was getting a lot of cortados,
Mm,
just with honey, like honey cortados.
nice.
Um, and I'm a big cold brew guy. I like a lot of black coffee, just in
Okay.
general. Like anything black.
Do you fuck with nitro?
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's called the Red Hook.
Oh,
That's kind of near. I think they have one near the Russell where Tied Down is, and a few people were being sent there. There's a ton of coffee in Detroit for some reason. You know, it's very cool. Uh, but because the reason why I drink nothing but black coffee now is because I was a barista at Starbucks for 4 years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I was also a shift supervisor for like two
That's not
half the
bad.
time I was there. So I uh I learned a good amount about like just basic coffee stuff from there. And I you know what? I do kind of miss it. Just being in like a at least what I miss is the environment.
Mhm.
Uh I would love to maybe eventually do that again, but it's very difficult to get into any coffee shops around here unless you know somebody,
Mhm.
which is understandable.
Yeah. I mean, even in Montreal, where we have like, I feel like you can't go on a single block without knocking into like a cafe or like someplace with like even just a shitty espresso machine,
Yeah,
like trying to make like espresso. And
love espresso.
oh, it's my favorite. Uh, actually, I've learned like kind of recently that that is a word, but it's a word only in like France.
Really?
So in France, you can technically order espresso and it's not wrong, but
Hmm.
that's like just a French thing. So in Montreal, people order espresso, but some of them are actually like from France. So
Tomato kind of
I hate
thing.
it. I hate it. Um,
Yeah. I also uh, hate it.
it's on my list of like things I hate about coffee, which it's like Americano, espresso. Um, what else is on there? Cold brew is on there for a while, but I've come around.
Yeah. There is a lot of bad cold brew.
Yeah,
It's bad. Um,
sour.
it very sour. Yeah, you're right. That's the word for it. Um, I there was a dark time that I saw the light of recently. That I was a Dunkin' head for a while. Um, it's unfortunate too because it was just such of like an ease of access thing
Mhm.
with driving that it's like the first place I go to when like I load up my truck to leave for work. I just got the app, get a cold brew, I'm gone. And I hated it, but I like needed it.
Right. I'm not gonna judge at all because I understand,
Yeah.
especially like for ease of
Thank you.
access. Yeah. I have worse worse would be like between Montreal and Toronto, which if you're a band in either of those cities, you drive on a section of highway called the 401, and it is like just a long stretch of highway with nothing but these little like rest stops every 80 kilometers or so. And in each one, it's a like a Popeyes or an A&W, a Tim Hortons, and then some other thing like a little convenience store. But
Yep.
there's literally a Tim Hortons every 80 kilometers on the
Yeah.
highway.
I've been on the 401
It's horrible.
quite a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, you hate it.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's the worst Popeyes I've ever had. It's 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 the worst Tim Hortons I've ever had.
Oh yeah,
It's um it's all bad.
it's just bad. It's sad.
It is sad. But unfortunately, that's how you get anywhere.
It's the rules of the road.
It is. I've been at too many rest areas and the highway stops that, yeah, I don't need to go to another one.
I hate it though, because in the States, like I'm so used to being blessed with, you've got like Wawa or you've got like Sheets maybe, or even Bucky's,
Bucky's, yeah.
if you're in that part of the States. But here we've got En route, and it's like,
That's,
I'm,
yep, that's it.
I'm pretty sure it's government funded and not,
Oh, yeah.
it's all owned by Canadian Tire, essentially.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. They might as well put a pizza in there. Am I right? Like,
oh, fuck. I'm happy that I can speak with another non-Canadian that understands this language, because it's a sad sad times for a Southern boy.
I like being traveled. I like knowing things.
Like being a man of the world.
I also like Windsor's right over the water for me.
Right.
Like it's really easy for us to get to Canada. Like same with anyone from Buffalo. Like they can just go up there. So like my bands have played Canada quite a few times now. So I'm at this point I know about all the treats and all the terrible shit and what to do, what not to do.
For all the shittiness that is Canadian fast food, I will say we have Matty Matheson.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I did go to Maddie's Patties in Toronto, and it was great. All the locals are like, it's not that great.
It's great.
It's good. I enjoyed it. I got a milkshake. I got a burger. I got fries. I did it, and it was great. I would do it again.
I want to try Prime Seafood Palace.
Yeah, me too.
It's like $100 a plate.
Yeah. It's probably $50 a plate for me coming to Canada for it. So
in this economy,
yeah, I save money going to Canada now. It's great.
Yeah, of course.
But would I go to Maddie's Patties again? Probably not until I've tried most other things.
Right. Yeah. Maddie's Patties, we've stopped once. It was great. I got the smash burger, and somebody said later that I should have gotten Maddie's patty.
Okay. I got a smash burger too.
Well, he's got like his big boy burger, like the fat boy.
I don't like big burgers like that though.
I don't either. I like crispy smash burgers.
Yeah. A big burger is messy. A smash burger can be messy too, but a few years ago, I learned the hack of just cutting every burger in half, and it makes everything less of a mess.
And use the paper.
Yeah. Yeah. People just go right into it. I'm like, you're a monster.
It's funny in Europe, everybody cuts everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like pizza, they cut the pizza.
I do that with deep dish pizza. when I rarely have that, but I will eat deep dish pizza with a fork and knife.
What is the best deep dish in Detroit? And I will say firsthand, Detroit style deep dish, much more superior than Chicago, in my opinion.
I agree. I've been to Chicago a good amount too to have an actual opinion about it. Um, the best Detroit style pizza is not what you think. Well, not what you think I'm going to say. Jets is great, right? It is really good. It's a good go-to. There's this little chain that's been popping up around here called Sammy's. It's not well known at all. But when we were my girlfriend and I hosted some Canadians for Tied Down this about a month ago now. And I picked up a couple Detroit style deep dish pizzas from Sammy's. And they all agreed that it blew Jets out of the water.
If these are people that I'm thinking that they are, I definitely trust their opinion on pizza.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust them too, very much. And I wouldn't steer them wrong either. Sure. But yeah, also the hack to some Detroit style deep dish places is to get your pizza well done, so it is a little more crispy. Because that's what you want. You want it crispy on the outside and light and fluffy on the inside. And most of the time, Jets is light and fluffy and soggy.
We don't fuck with soggy pizza.
No, it's bad. You're eating like just bunched up wet paper with sauce on it.
There's a spot here, kind of close to the coffee roaster I'm working with, and it's in a little neighborhood called Verdun, like Verdun.
Okay.
The name of the pizza spot is Well Done, Dun. So they have Sicilian style, like the square, thicker, fluffy crust thing. It's not my vibe. They have
I love it though. I do like Sicilian.
I go for like two style. I like Neapolitan like style pizza as well.
Okay.
My go-to is always usually a New York slice, but it's got to be like crispy.
Yeah, that's how I love my pizza too.
This spot does the crispiest deep dish Detroit pizza I've ever seen.
Awesome.
It's sick. Their bacon vodka, it'll make you want to break edge.
No, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a spot here called Buddy's. They're the quote unquote original Detroit deep dish place because they use the steel pan and they bake the shit out of it and it's crispy. It's like good.
The pan is black.
All the pans are black. Like you go in the back of the kitchen, there's a stack of pans. They're all just toast. It's not that great. It's super greasy. It just falls apart. It's not the best. So if anyone comes here and is like south of Detroit, anywhere like southwest-ish Detroit, Sammy's Pizza. Get it well done. Get the barbecue chicken.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more.
That's what I got for everyone. I got another one too. I got like a Hawaiian. And everyone ate the barbecue chicken pizza right away. It was gone in minutes.
Yeah. Speaking of hosting Canadians, I don't want this to turn into a coffee and food podcast, but we've been going for 30 minutes and it's been coffee and food. Speaking of hosting Canadians, how American is Blaine? Any last words?
Borderline Republican.
I think he reminds me of a long lost cousin, honestly.
He's as uncle as it gets. Oh yeah, he's one of my best friends. He's great.
When I met him, I thought he was older than me.
No, not at all.
No, he's not even a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's very, very funny. I love Blaine.
Yeah, he's the best.
He
Spirit of
was
Vengeance, shout out. Great band.
was that he just fucking shared it with me today. Destined to Burn.
Destined to Burn, also great band.
Great band.
Very
New
fun.
tracks. New tracks coming soon.
They're yes, very soon. And they're great. He sends me everything all the time. He's like, listen to this. I'm like, that's awesome.
He sent me a track today and I was like shopping for some stuff before coming home. And I told him, I was like, damn, you almost made me shit my pants in the grocery store. He's like, come on.
He he's like he's a saving grace for me at work sometimes. Because he'll just call me and I'll be like, yes, I have a 2 hour drive home. And he just talks to me the whole drive back. And it's great.
We were messaging this morning. I was trying to see if they could play a show. And I'm like about to walk into work at like 6 a.m. And he goes, call me. I was like, it's 6 a.m., bro. What are you doing? He's like, I'm driving to work. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's as American as you can be. He might as well be from Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, I think he's more American than me
Hey, that's
in
up to you.
in ways. I'm not willing to fully admit that.
He gets so mad every time I tell him I'm having Jets tonight. All the time, for a while I was sending him pictures of like just everything American like I could be eating. Like if I had canes,
Mhm.
Raising Canes, I'd send him a picture of it and be like, fuck you. And
It triggers people up here.
it does. I
The
get it.
people that have had the taste, they've had a taste of what it's like.
And they come back. I get it. That's how I felt in Europe. I was like, I love being American so much after being in Europe because everything didn't suck, but everything just had like didn't have salt.
Yeah, it's got lower levels of sodium for sure.
A
Yeah.
lot lower. And we're so used to that it makes such a difference. And it also, I was just getting mad half the time. So I was like, these nuggets at McDonald's suck because they're not salty. And the sauce sucks because it's just ketchup with no sugar in it.
The worst McDonald's I ever had was in Stockholm. The worst McDonald's.
Yeah. Nothing I had in Europe was memorable, unfortunately, food wise, unless it came from the street.
Yeah.
Like
Street shit is good.
I got like kebabs and like there's like some like Middle Eastern stuff I had and like just really good like street food. But like
Did you get a hot dog?
yeah, amazing. One of the
Good
best
hot
hot dogs
dogs.
I ever had.
Yep.
Next to New York hot dogs. A shitty New York hot dog I love.
They get the if you go further north, they got these long, skinny red ones.
Okay.
It's amazing. And then in Denmark, they put this stuff called like remoulade or something. It's almost like tartar sauce, but more pickly
Okay.
and crispy onion.
Ooh. Yeah.
It slaps.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to move off the food. Literally,
Yeah.
I have like a list of shit that I had to talk about. And for 37 minutes, we have talked about nothing but pizza, coffee, and Blaine.
We can move off food. Last thing about Blaine. Hopefully he's listening to this. I just had Bubba's 33 a minute ago. Fuck you. That's a that's a restaurant we go to every time he's here now because it's the
Mhm.
most American restaurant in the world. It's just an American sports bar with burgers. That's it.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to take Bruiserweight to the States just so that I can like introduce some of them to like, because they know like the baseline stuff, but then
Yeah.
like take them to like true places.
Yeah, like get a hot dog covered in chili and cheese and onions and stuff. Like
A chili cheese coney.
yeah,
Come on.
another Detroit staple.
Oh, okay. That's enough.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's it. No more food.
No more food. Tell me about why you got into hardcore and growing up in the Detroit scene. What were those formative bands that drew you in?
Let's go back. So I am originally from Florida.
Oh,
Yeah, fun fact. I more or less grew up here in the Detroit area. I was born in Florida. I was there until I was about 10, and then I moved up here. Started middle school up here. Uh, so I consider this more so my home.
mm-hmm.
Um, but growing up is more my parents. My parents were always playing music constantly, all the time. They're hippies, so they listen to literally everything. My dad is a Deadhead through and through, loves the Grateful Dead. Like growing up in Florida, he would, anywhere they played in Florida, he would travel to go see them and hitchhike to go see them, like just with whoever else was going there. He was that guy. Um, so I grew up with that, but he would also like put on Corn
Mm.
and a lot of Green Day. Uh, Trying to think, just like Alice in Chains, a lot of like heavy like grunge, and then like later on like a lot of new metal.
Mm-hmm.
My dad also like bought the like Kitty's first CD for some reason. uh he was always like super just curious about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, so he would listen to anything from Grateful Dead to Korn to you know Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, a lot of 80s stuff too, just like synth pop, new wave, like everything. He was like an 80s guy too. He went from like being into like disco 80s synth wave stuff to being a hippie, and he's done it all. So like I grew up like with a melting pot of shit, which is awesome. Um so yeah, I got super into Corn, and that was pretty much the one band that like kind of set me off being like, I want to listen to anything that sounds like this. Basically the first Corn record, anything
Mm-hmm.
heavy. Um so I'd put on like the Katy CD too I'd put that on all the time. I was like, oh, this is sick. It's all girls. Like this rocks. Um and my mom too, she wasn't really into like heavy stuff. She was always listening to like Sarah McLachlan
Nice.
and like a lot of like blues and like bluegrass stuff too. Still listen to Sarah McLachlan today. Amazing.
Just the feels.
It is. It's great. Um, but come like I was super into new metal. Linkin Park's a big band for me.
Mm-hmm.
Once I like heard Linkin Park on like, what I think I saw like a music video on MTV when I was younger, because I would always get up an hour before I had to get up for school to watch music videos on MTV or VH1. I would always be doing that. So I saw Linkin Park, and that's all I would listen to in my room, playing Dragon Ball Z games, listening to Hybrid Theory and Meteora over and over and over and over again. I would say come middle school is when I started to really like make some friends. Slipknot's another really big band
Yeah.
too, of course. Um, Always going on their website, and they would always have music videos on their website too. And it was always spooky. And I loved that. Like there'd always be like the flashing S like symbol. And I'd be like, oh, this rocks. And there would always be like a song playing in the background, and I just loved going to their website constantly. Same with Linkin Park's website. I think those were bands that like really nailed social media, quote unquote, like in the early days for having the coolest websites. I don't think people think about that often, but if, I feel like a lot of people went on their websites.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so anyway, because they were awesome. But yeah, come middle school, making friends and just like bonding over, you know, like also like Rock Band and Guitar Hero being huge, and just discovering like certain bands on there. I mean, like, oh, that's heavy. Like, what is this breakdown? That's nuts. Uh, like A Day to Remember was a big band starting out like in like seventh grade. Um, a lot of friends I had were like, you need to check this band out. They're so heavy and they sound like Newfound Glory too. I'm like, sick. That's
But
awesome.
heavier.
But heavier. And uh, starting there, I kind of went from that band and kind of uh, watching like the DVDs too that they did, and like just seeing like mentions of like other bands like Comeback Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just trying to like put me on the spot. I haven't really thought about this. It's all flooding back to me very fast. Uh, yeah, when it came to like going to shows and like discovering like what actually like hardcore was, um, I would say like eighth, ninth grade, 15, 16, maybe younger than that. No, I was 14 when I went to my first show. And it was down the street at a place called the Modern Exchange. And there was a few like, I guess, hardcore bands that played. And it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen up to that point. Um, I had only went to one concert event, I guess. My dad took me to see Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, sick.
Uh, when I was 12. Yeah, I was 12. And he got us like general admission floor. And my dad, another band he's super into, Nine Inch Nails. And I grew up listening to that. One of my favorite bands to this day. Amazing. And then I ended up going to this first show and seeing like people like hitting each other. And I'm like, this is nuts. I'm scared. And seeing like trash cans being thrown around, because that's the kind of scene it was around that time. It was like, wait till the trash can gets full, pick it up and destroy the place. And not mosh, like don't dance, but beat everyone up. So I was like 14 getting smashed. And like, this is nuts. And for some reason, I wanted to keep going back.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but it was awesome.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember the adrenaline, but it was probably there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would not expect the Day to Remember to be on the list.
Oh yeah. I for a while I was like, oh, that's not cool. But I did just see them recently. And it did make me think about how influential that band is to probably more people than I think.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like just in every way. Like they did so many like awesome things, and they did it seamlessly. Like people, think it's corny. People think it's, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They merged two genres together perfectly. And they're huge because of it, because people like it and it's good. And when I saw them recently, I undeniably amazing live. I'm just like, yeah. And now they're bringing out Pain of Truth and Scowl
Yeah.
and Military Gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome.
That is so, and maybe it's like a move to try to like reach, different fans or younger fans. 90% of people around our age are gonna know at least 60 to 70% of those tracks that I didn't remember plays.
Yes. And I did. I like it. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen them when I was younger, like going to Warped Tour and stuff. And that was the last time I had seen them, was over 10 years ago at a Warped Tour. Well, like 12 years ago at this point. So to go from that experience to seeing them now, they still got it. Like their newer stuff, like I'm not a fan of. I can't really be a fan of. Like it's catchy stuff. People like it. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not for me anymore. But they were still playing home. They played more than half of Homesick when I saw them. And they played a couple for Those Who Have Heart tracks. And
that's
well, no, they played one. They played The Danger in Starting a Fire.
You have to.
Which was rare. I thought they would play like The Plot to Bomb the Panhandle, like the biggest song off of that record, probably.
I feel like over time, The Danger in Starting a Fire has become the bigger of the two.
Yeah. And I was shocked they played it. I really wanted to mosh, but I couldn't do that to everybody.
That last breakdown, that's crazy.
Ridiculous. Like hearing that live too, it's a different world. It's great. But yeah, I give them a lot of props to getting me to where I am today. Just liking heavy stuff in general.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unpopular opinion, maybe not in this conversation, but to the cool guy mentality in hardcore, Homesick has no skips.
No, not one.
So y'all can be all judgmental if you want to, but you have to admit at some point that that album is very good.
The record's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. And then the last track with Haley Williams, come on.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's, as far as I know, it's like it's a recall classic.
That time, like that changed everything. Everyone wanted to be that record.
My high school band was literally copying that.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
And it spawned terrible bands. Or some good ones. More bad than good. But like I just remember liking some bands that were doing that, and looking back on it now, I'm like, no, these bands were so bad.
Attack, great band.
An amazing band. Greatest band of all time.
The first record, I'm telling you, amazing band.
So good.
The auto-tune aged so well.
Oh, it can't be touched. Hasn't been touched. T-Pain did it wrong.
T-Pain owes them money. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. Millions.
Tell me about Detroit Head Check.
That I give all the credit to the drummer of D Block, Austin. That was his initial, like, we heard my now deceased band, Enemy of God, rest in peace, was playing a show, and he drove up with me, and we were on the way back from that, and it was just quiet. I think we were listening to something, and he just goes, I'm going to start a zine. I'm like, yeah, do it. And sweet. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And then like a couple weeks later, he has a zine. He just made it. He interviewed a couple bands and just put together something. And he's like, Detroit Head Check. That's what I'm calling it. He actually came up with the name in like shortly after he said it out loud. He was just like thinking out loud. He's like, Head Check. I think that's like a Crown of Thorns song. And he's like, yeah, Detroit Head Check, DHC, Detroit Hardcore. Oh my God. He's like, and then I was like, I'll help you with it. And I didn't really help with the zine, but we made a Instagram, and shortly after that, I had already been talking to my friend Brian about doing a podcast, because like all we were doing is just talking about music anyway whenever we were hanging out, and just like bullshitting for like nonstop, like at least an hour, 2 hours, just straight talking to each other. So we're like, we can just record this, like if we wanted to. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So, I mean, it started with just using one mic and just doing it to, just gradually having like our friends at Edgemon help us out with getting some like merch made, and helping us pretty much fund some gear so we can at least like semi-professionally do a podcast, because you don't really need much. Like we got these mics, they sound great, as you know.
Mic twins.
Yeah, they're great. And yeah, we're not really like a guest podcast. We have people on here and there. Like I just uploaded an episode today. Austin was on. He hadn't been on in a while. And it's just kind of turned into like a let's just bullshit. Like talk about whatever, be dumb, like, try and talk about what's going on around here. Try not to be too hyper local. But still just, just bullshit and have fun and talk. And, and I don't care who listens to it or doesn't listen to it. It's fine. We just keep doing it. It's fun. It's an excuse to hang out and just get together and do it.
You feel like I need a co-host?
It's fun. It definitely creates a dynamic of low pressure. So you have somebody else to, bounce back and forth off of,
like a buffer.
Yeah.
I listened to a bit of the episode today, and I was like, this is insane.
It's chaotic.
Yeah.
Like
I was working trying to follow it, and I was like, there is so much shit that was just said that I don't even know if I understand what is being talked about.
I'm not like this, and I'm okay. They're okay with me saying this, but they're so like ADD pilled. Like they are so distracted by everything and anything. It's like I knew how it was going to go going into it, and it's like we're all talking over each other, and they don't know that because they're just talking. But when it translates like to recording into 3 different microphones, it's insane. It's very hard to listen to.
Are you editing it or?
No. No, I am not editing it whatsoever. Sometimes I have to for reasons,
For reasons.
Yeah, for reasons. But most of the time I'm not editing it, because it's if I were to like edit it and like chop it up to an actual conversation, that would take hours.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and I'm not getting paid, so I'm not editing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic though.
Yeah, like I get compliments about it. I also get people like it's unlistenable. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like it's okay. It's only when it's like more than two people. Sometimes it can be pretty chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And I appreciate it a ton because it's just something fun we do.
Yeah. There's like space for it is what I like. I like I listen to a number of different podcasts, and sometimes I like that like super chaotic energy when I'm alone, not doing anything. And then
Yeah.
hearing like this insane conversation play out is nice. Stop at nothing.
Yeah. Stop at nothing.
It's new.
It is new. What we're doing is not new at all. I also didn't write any of it.
It's metally.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. I do like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar player, Nick, he's been in a few. This is his first band in a while, and he's been sitting on this stuff for 10 years plus. He's just had this stuff written.
Damn.
And he's always wanted to do a band like this. And the bands he has been in weren't the best. And he felt like he didn't really have any fun doing it. So he's just always wanted to do a band that sounds just like All Out War and Kickback. Like there are riffs on this that are actually All Out War riffs. Like they are ripped 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it's noticeable and it's fine.
Yeah.
But we all love it. Joe Plonky, the singer of Big Deal, is the other guitar player as well. And Jake, who drums for Big Deal, is also the drummer. And I'm playing bass. Nick plays guitar. And Kenny, our good friend Kenny, does vocals. He was in a band around here called Retribution.
Mm-hmm.
And that band rocked. Some of those members ended up being in like Freedom and Build and Destroy and stuff like that. So it's awesome to like have him in a band because he's like one of the older guys I've looked up to for a long time. And ever since I've been going to like hardcore shows, like for close to like 13, 14 years now, he's been there. And I've just seen him always as an old guy. I've told him this, but I love him. So it's awesome to be in a band with him.
Super weird. The old heads, like as you grow up, they also grow up. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. He just had his 40th birthday the other day. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Love you, Kenny.
Every band worth their salt needs like an old head.
Yeah. Like everyone in D Block is also a lot older than me. So like Camden, the singer, is 10 years older than I am. So like everyone is like 6 to 10 years older than me in my bands. So it's cool. I like it.
Wait, so you're 24?
I'm 28.
Oh, damn. I didn't know he was that old. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that.
Oh, no, it's cool.
John, in Bruiserweight, John's 38 as well. I think he's 37, wow. But he could be 38 now.
How old's the bass player in Bruiserweight?
23.
Okay. All right. We have some, I just went to a show at a skate park the other day. And it was all young kids. They're all not even 20.
What the hell?
Some are 20 and 21 at the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
But like this band, the Sissy Boys, are awesome. And they're all fresh out of high school. And they're just playing punk. And they're all punk as shit. Like they sound like Negative Approach. They go nuts. The singer's a ragamuffin. He's a stinker. He's just like doing front flips and stuff and like breaking microphones and going nuts, and they're awesome. Like, I'll say one thing about Detroit right now. There's a lot of young kids that are like came out of nowhere the last like 2 years that are starting bands, playing in good bands, and booking their own shows and like just going nuts at every show. And I love it. It's amazing.
That makes me really happy. Here we have very little spaces for like the under 19, under 18 crowd.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
So it's not like super conducive to like training up, even high schoolers coming to shows. We have like kind of a squat illegal venue. It's very unsafe. And I really advise most bands to like try to avoid it just because of a lot of shit that's gone down, like with like fentanyl and there's been like druggings and stuff like that. So I just really don't think it's a safe environment for especially like young people to be in. And
Yeah.
I'm not even straight edge, so that should say a lot.
Yeah. Nobody needs to be playing anywhere like that anymore.
Yeah. So, um, especially like with our, winter's like harsh as fuck. So having like outdoor shows is not in question. So we've really been trying to work like in the scene to figure out where we can do it. We have a Legion that's been doing shows, but they've recently had some issues with some of the staff. So, um, you know, it's difficult. So I'm happy that there's like kids doing shit for themselves over there.
It's cool. This kid Richie has been trying to book his own shows, and I feel bad. The first show he ended up booking was at the skate shop, and it got shut down like halfway through. They were cool about it, like they knew what was going on, and then I think they got to a point where I think they didn't know what was going on because moshing started to happen, and they ended up being assholes, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone collectively decided to just not play anymore. Like the other bands that were going to play were like, no, we're not going to play. We're just going to leave. Like this sucks. So and then Richie and his mom came out to support, and it just didn't happen. And he booked another show at another place, which is going to be fine. So I think that's a good. It's good to have trial and error stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, I'm thankful we do have a lot of places that we can play because there's a game store that has been having shows that like they sell like Magic the Gathering
Yeah,
cards
that's
and
what I was
like
gonna say.
yeah Warhammer stuff and all
Mm-hmm.
that. They've been having shows in their like game room, and it's awesome. Stop at Nothing is playing the next one there. I'm very excited for that. We have Edgeman.
Edgeman's
They
great.
they're the best. Definitely a legendary place for shows at this point, I will say.
Yep.
Um, and then there's a few other like smaller spots. There's a little bar like 10 minutes away from me called Parts and Labor that has been having shows. Um, and we have the bigger venues and stuff, but that's all like Live Nation and all that.
Is the
So,
Sanctuary Live Nation?
I think so. The Sanctuary has I would say for the past year been very metal heavy. He's been doing a lot of just uh metal, death metal, black metal, some like pop punk stuff here and there, but I think since Edgeman's been doing shows more often, and just like the Crowfoot, it is called, that's what it's called, has been doing shows, and like at the Russell where Tied Down is,
Mm-hmm.
um they've been kind of handling like the hardcore side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But if like anything pops up to where like the Sanctuary is needed, of course, like there will be shows there.
Right. I remember seeing like mad videos coming from there out of the pandemic. I guess because they were one of the first like venues to kind of start rebooking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Edgeman you're talking about, or Sanctuary?
at Sanctuary, but then around that same time, Edgeman was like putting a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Edgeman had the first show back here, like the first hardcore show.
Mm-hmm.
Never ending game ended. Shackled. Um my band at the time, Ground War, played, but we only played 2 shows.
Damn, one of those.
Yeah, first and last show we did. But it's cool. Now a lot of those songs I wrote are going to be D Block songs. So
Yeah,
then I'm
that's
not letting those go.
that's a wonderful segue. Thank you so much for that, because D Block has like a bunch of crazy shit coming up.
We do. We just got dinner, me and Austin, with Camden, the singer. So we were talking about a lot of stuff. So and I'm really excited.
I was looking at the Instagram at all the flyers, and I'm like, these are some pretty crazy shows. Going to the West Coast, playing LA.
Yeah, finally.
Finally.
We've been waiting for that.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. It's awesome.
Are y'all doing an album release show in Vegas?
No, that's another band.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like what is it? 1,000 Ways to Die, I think is what they're called. It's their CD release show, and
okay.
we'll be the headlining band for
Are y'all
that.
doing that Legion?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. That's the spot in Vegas right now.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited. And our LA show is awesome too. We got added to, it's like Seed of Pain, Wreckage, and Collateral, and a few other bands.
Collateral's sick.
Collateral's great. I love all those bands.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to finally, maybe I'll have a good LA experience this time, because every time I've been to LA, I've had the like most nightmarish just time and traffic, and it sucks.
To me, LA is like somewhat of a hellscape.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It's a concrete jungle.
Yeah,
It's
I'm very
exactly
much
what
an
it is.
East Coast person.
Love it. Love the East Coast.
Everybody's grounded. Everybody's suffering together.
Yeah.
We know where we're at.
Pacific Northwest is another amazing place. I went to Seattle for the first time last year and loved it. Portland,
Yeah.
Stay there.
Stay there.
Stay there. It's fine.
I have feelings about Vancouver, not because I've been, but just because of the people I know from Vancouver.
Still haven't been to Vancouver. I would love to though.
I want to see it. I want to play. It's notoriously a violent scene.
Really?
From what I've heard.
That's what I've heard about Vegas too.
Yep.
So we'll see when we play. I think you guys may have been out like playing a different show, but we did come to Montreal last year.
It was it Hold Your Ground? No.
No, it was in July.
July we were playing in Ontario.
Yeah, it was at the end of July. We came with Rust and Ends of Sanity.
I know. And we were like, I remember because almost every local band was either unavailable or like out playing somewhere else.
That's what it was. Yeah. I don't remember if there was even a local band on it. I think there was.
Really wanted to play that. Like we were pissed that we had like this other show booked in Ontario. I think we were in Toronto or something.
It did end up being a great show. So I would love to come back to Montreal.
Anytime.
Hey, send us a message. Well,
let me know when.
Probably not this year because we're pretty booked up this year. Unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately.
Y'all haven't played Hold Your Ground?
No, we haven't. I would love to.
What the fuck's up with that?
I don't know. We just haven't been asked. We did get asked to play a pre-show last year.
But y'all would have played with us.
Yeah, it just didn't end up working out.
Damn.
But yeah, we haven't been asked to play the actual fest. I went to the first year of Hold Your Ground and it was awesome.
I missed that year. I was in like an emo core band.
Sick.
Yeah, and we played Hamilton the same night as the first night of Hold Your Ground.
Damn.
So nobody was at our show.
That
It was
sucks.
awesome.
That's that's always a good time, isn't it?
Kind of wanted to bail and just go where all my friends were.
That's what I would have done. I would have just been
Yeah.
like, fuck this show. I don't care.
We played with a Down cover band and a Rob Zombie cover band.
Like down, like the
Yeah, like Phil Anselmo.
wow.
Yeah, sick. Love it.
That I mean, that's kind of cool, but I mean, I ain't got
It,
much fans, but
nope.
Blaine maybe. Blaine loves down.
If there was anything Phil Anselmo was a part of.
Yeah, that's what I said. Borderline Republican. I ain't throwing that at him, really. I'm
Yo,
just
yeah,
kidding.
if that's more than borderline.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens. Are y'all working on new music or y'all just gonna keep running off that EP? The new one.
we we are working on stuff. We work very slow. Um, sometimes too slow. But what we're all on the same page about right now is just trying to make everything as good as we possibly can make it. We don't want to rush anything. Um, we did that EP last year because me as well as the drummer Austin were newer members, so we wanted to write a couple songs like as that band
Mhm.
and release something as like the newer, you know, additions to the band. Uh, so we are gonna hopefully, I'll say hopefully, have new music out this year by the end of the year. Um, so we're very slowly writing new stuff, but we do have a lot of plans to at least be consistent about it. So
Mhm.
the time will come.
I have a very it's not serious question. It's just a something every time I listen to D Block, I wonder
Okay.
who is playing the single coil guitar?
Okay. On
What
the
is that?
on the EP, you mean?
There's on the EP and then on like the first release, like on the demo, it's even
Yeah.
more apparent.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, I know what you mean. So the first EP, the guitars are rough.
It's not
They
that they're
are.
rough. They sound like very overwhelmingly single coiled.
Yeah. And they are. So the lore there. Um, so D Block was originally Camden and a completely different group of guys.
Okay.
Um, the guitar player that wrote all of those songs bailed right before recording. Like, yes, like was like, I can't do this. I can't do this band. And then in like a pinch, uh Matt Caracas of Citizen um re-recorded those guitars and learned those songs from basically ear. And uh I don't think like to his fault um like capturing like a distorted guitar. And I think he only had like a Strat
Mm-hmm.
on hand to do it, and he was pretty much just helping out because that's who they went to record with. As well as the Do Not Cross EP that was also recorded with Matt. But they had gotten Rich, our guitar player now,
Mm-hmm.
um, to help record, like, you know, properly anyway. Um, not even as a slight to Matt not recording guitars, just like um,
I mean, very good guitar player.
Yeah, and he's a great drummer too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So Rich coming in pretty much immediately after that and becoming the guitar player of the band, and then the bass player also jumped ship like right after recording. So they got Matt, who's the bass player still today, and then I ended up joining second guitar after a while and got a different drummer, and here we are. But yeah, those it is a single coil guitar. I think it's a single coil Strat or a Telecaster on that.
It's crazy.
It is.
But the story is like amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun story.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I also might be getting it a little wrong, but because I wasn't there. But I know that like Matt did have to re-record those guitar parts, so it is what it is. It's fun lore.
But on the new EP or the newest EP, there's still a single coil sound.
Really, you think so?
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I hear a bit of a twangy in there.
It might be. It might be Rich's amp.
Oh.
The amp he uses is very it has such a like it's his signature tone. Like
Okay.
he's like messed with tones for years, and he's like came to this conclusion to where like this is his tone. Man, that's interesting. You hear a single coil like sound. Is it more like a high end like snap or something?
Yeah, it's very like trebly.
That's how his tone is, I
Okay.
think. It's very, very mid-range and present.
That's it.
Yeah. And it's almost like it's like edging and like HM2. Like it's like getting right in there.
Like dialed back HM2.
Very. Like if you distorted it anymore, it could be a little bit of a scooped HM2 sound for some reason.
I like that.
Yeah, but he sounds great. I love it. That's interesting. I love that.
I like the solos and the newer stuff too.
Thank you. We're doing a lot more.
It's sick.
Because
It's like just fucking shredding.
I'm not the best at soloing. Rich is a shredder. He's a metal guy through and through. So I'm like everything I've been writing, I'm like, all right, Rich, this part is your solo part. I'm like leaving parts for him to solo on it and for us to like harmonize and like be like have fun little like Slayer stuff going on, and even like, you know, some Kiss sounding things.
I mean,
yeah, just fun.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's just rock and roll.
Yeah, Detroit Rock City.
I always forget that it's called Rock City.
Yeah, we're come play Detroit. And see
send us a message.
You can see the Motown Museum, and
I haven't been there in so long.
Yeah, like, come play whenever you want.
I came in 2020.
Wow.
In the middle of the pandemic.
For what?
For work.
Wow.
There's a college in Auburn Hills.
Okay.
Yeah. Auburn Hills.
It's Auburn Hills. Yeah.
And they were doing an outdoor like commencement for their class for the college there. And I had to bring in a giant LED wall.
Wow.
So yeah, it was interesting being there.
Did they need that LED wall?
They did, because the whole thing was like, it was in the parking lot, and people basically like everybody pulled in and watched it from their cars.
Wow.
It was like that time in the pandemic.
Fuck. April?
I think it might have been April or May.
Yeah.
I did one in LA as well. Actually, I did 3 in LA. And then I did something similar in Nashville, but for Toyota.
Wow.
I traveled a lot during the pandemic during 2020 for
When you
work.
shouldn't have been.
Nope. I
That's
took so
awesome.
many flights and I didn't even catch COVID.
No, I never got it either.
Oh, I mean, I got it bad,
Oh, okay.
just
Yeah.
not in 2020.
I think I got it before everything happened. So I attended that LDB right before. So um, probably wasn't Fest Plague.
No,
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 definitely not.
definitely not. I remember I got home from Miami because I went to Miami for Christmas in 2019, and I came back, and my mother-in-law, who was there as well, we both were sick with almost the exact same thing. And I think it was like before we knew like what it was,
Yeah.
because Miami's like one of the biggest travel hubs in the US.
Oh, yeah.
So interesting times. Feels like so long ago.
Oh, yeah. No, I always just refer to the pandemic now for like bands being huge. I think I was just talking about that the other day. Like, I was talking about I don't remember exactly what band, but I'm just like, yeah, no, oh, it was Basement.
Mm.
Because they just announced a couple shows, Toronto and Detroit.
Might have to travel to Toronto for that
Uh,
one.
oh, do it.
Yeah.
That's they're going to be awesome. But I'm just like, yeah, those shows are going to sell out immediately because they haven't been to these places since before the pandemic, and now they're like they have a song on like that is huge on TikTok. So it's they're huge because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. I saw them play at Outbreak 22. They played Color Me and Kindness.
You went to that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I might have cried like a little baby.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I would have.
and Turnstile, that was like the last time Turnstile played on a stage that you could stage dive off of.
Yeah. Nope.
That's
Man.
another band that is post pandemic huge.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen Turnstile like a good amount of times in like the best places. They played a little skate shop here, like 20 minutes from me, called Refuge. They used to have a ton of shows. Um, there's like a pretty popular video of it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best shows I've ever been to ever. And they were huge. Like that was in 2018. Like they could have sold out like 1,000 cap venue, no problem. But they're like, 200 tickets to this little skate shop. Nuts. The
Telling
best
you,
time.
people they like think that when a band like that gets big, that they like quote unquote sold out.
No.
All those people are still like Brendan plays with Trapped Under Ice again. Like he's just playing shows. I mean, not that that's like a step down from doing Turnstile, but um, like people want to hate on like Knocked Loose and Dying Wind, like these bands that are like doing big shit. They're still down for the core if you know those people. Like
They are.
they still are plugged into like what's going on in their local scenes and in like their group of people. Like they're not above it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working for Knocked Loose last year for a tour. I drove around their merch for like 5-6 weeks, and getting to know like them and their crew and stuff. They're awesome. They know what they're doing. Like they're just there. They're doing what they're doing, and they're only doing it because people like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everyone else does this, is hopefully people enjoy what you're doing. And that's not selling out at all. I was listening to an audiobook recently. It was something about like Green Day, and the singer of I think it's No Effects. He was like, Green Day never sold out. Like they just, their music that they were writing got popular enough.
Mm-hmm.
to where, you know, it looked like they were selling out. They were selling out venues and they were too big. It's just because people were liking what they were doing finally.
That's like an amazing way to look at it. I haven't thought of it that way, where it's just like it's not selling out. You're just writing something that people enjoy.
Yeah. And not, you know, usually by accident, not on purpose.
Man, that's noteworthy. People should listen to that shit. That's crazy. That Fat Mike would say something like that.
Yeah. I heard that and I was like, yeah, he's right. Absolutely right. And I've thought about that like since.
Lyric, this has obviously been a lot of fun for me. I don't know how you feel about it.
I had a blast.
I really enjoyed it. Just have one last question for you before we go. What's your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
Is there an obvious answer?
No, it's like whatever you want. It can be obvious to you.
I thought you were trying to get me to say Montreal.
No. I mean,
like a radio station.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I can separate those two things very easily because I've been to a good amount of places where I've had amazing coffee and seen really good music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Detroit.
Rock City.
Rock City. There's great coffee. I mean, the music that has came out of Detroit and the surrounding area is crazy.
I almost wore my Cold as Life shirt, but I didn't want to.
It's fine.
I didn't want to punish.
So. I'm wearing a Tigers hat.
That's fine. That's fine. That's like a team. Like I could wear an Expos hat, but like I'm not gonna wear a Cryptopsy shirt, even though Cryptopsy is amazing.
It's the best letter in Old English ever.
That's true.
What other than the X? Other than
that's
a good
true.
Old English X.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the best Old English letter. That's why a lot of bands, this is a secret hack. A lot of bands around here, maybe they've thought of it. This is what I think though. If you have a D in your name, it's a great hack.
Big deal.
Big deal. You know,
Desecrate from Montreal. Do you know about this band?
I think so. I think I've heard the name.
They have a Old English, but almost like pirate style Old English.
That's dope.
That's what they use for theirs. I'm like, can't tell if that's Desecrate, Detroit, or D Block at this point.
Yeah, a never-ending game.
And never-ending game. I forgot that they do it too.
Yeah, they have literally the best logo because they put NEG in the D. It's the best.
I will say that album artwork is extremely influential for where I want like our next album artwork to go.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's sick.
They're the best. Detroit is the best for beans and breakdowns.
Hell yeah. Tied down all the coffee shops. It's right there. Just go.
It's great. I think Detroit is a very underrated city. It's small. It's easy to get around. There's a lot of cool shit to do. We have Tied Down now. It's incredible. A lot of shit's going on. The surrounding areas are great. Mm-hmm. Windsor's right there. Our brothers and sisters in Canada.
Our Canadian brothers and sisters.
The 401.
No. Fuck the 401.
En route. Shout out.
Fuck en route. Straight up. No shout outs. Everything's overpriced.
Shout out Coffee Crisp. Love that shit.
Yeah, shout out Coffee Crisps. Straight up. That's good shit. Yeah, that's good shit. I'll give it that. Lyric, thank you so much for hanging out.
Of course.
Looking forward to the next time we get to see each other. Play some shows maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
But enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks.
for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Lyric for hanging out on the podcast. Be sure to check out the music from D Block and Stop at Nothing, available on all streaming platforms. You can also find the Detroit Head Check podcast on all streaming platforms as well, wherever pods may be cast. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can find out more information about the podcast by following us on Instagram at Beans and Breakdowns or on the web at beansandbreakdowns.com. Until next week, be sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.